Did you think the monetary revolution would be smooth with no bumps? Of course there's going to be bumps. When there's a radical changeover, when everybody goes from one technology to another technology, whether it's from gas-powered cars to electric cars, the stock price of Tesla is all over the place because people are speculating how fast will it happen? How completely will it happen? Nobody knows all of these things. When the entire world went from analog to digital with the internet, there was huge spikes in internet stocks, and then they crashed, and then they spiked, and then they crashed because nobody could figure out how fast and how big the internet revolution was going to be. Ultimately, the internet runs basically everything now, but that took time, and nobody knew how long that was going to be and what that was going to be like. So Bitcoin is an absolute monetary revolution. Did you think there would not be bumps in the road? In fact, there's no conceivable way that Bitcoin was going to start and then 3% of the world was going to adopt it, and after 33 years and a third, the whole world's adopted Bitcoin. Nothing happens that way. It doesn't matter if you're moving from horses to automobiles or the internet or the printing press. Anytime you have a revolution that you can invest in, which means you can actually tell the stock price goes up and down, that's going to be a wild, bumpy ride. Everything is like that. The birth of new technologies, just like the birth in real life, is violent. It's up and down. It's start and stop and go. It's start and stop. That is the way new technologies and new adoptions of everything happens. So, and let's run a little thought experiment here. Let's assume Bitcoin was invented and exactly 3% of the world was adopting Bitcoin every year for 33 1/3 years until 100% adoption. Now, if 3% of the world is adopting every year, don't you think some people are going to catch on that trend is happening? And what are they going to do? They're going to try to front run that trend by buying a bunch of Bitcoin with the anticipation it will be a lot more valuable later when more of the world adopts. But then as soon as a bunch of people try to front run that, like they did in 2010 and 2011, then the price crashes because it becomes clear that it's going to take longer than they thought for the world to adopt Bitcoin. So they panic, they freak out, they sell the Bitcoin that they had bought. The price crashes in 2012. Then the same thing happens in 2013. Everybody's positive that worldwide adoption is right around the corner. The price crashes in 2014 because it's clear it's going to take a little while. The price goes way high in 2017 because everybody thinks worldwide Bitcoin adoption is right around the corner. The price comes down in 2018 because it's clear it's going to take a little while. The price runs up in 21, same. Price runs high in 25. Guess what? We are adopting worldwide Bitcoin right now. It's happening underneath the surface, little by little. The world is adopting to a Bitcoin standard, and Bitcoin is little by little being adopted worldwide. But the price of Bitcoin, which is reflected literally 24/7 in the price you can look at in River or Robinhood or Coinbase or any app, you can see the real-time price that's reflected by that adoption. And that price has relatively violent swings because everybody's speculating how fast that adoption will happen. One day, everybody's positive it's right around the corner. The next day, everybody's positive it's going to take a little while. Guess what? It's somewhere in between. It's going to take somewhere between a while. If it's not right around the corner, but it's not going to take forever. It takes people a while to understand radical new technologies. It always has. It always will. Patience is the key. The world is adopting Bitcoin. Bitcoin is on sale right now. The price of Bitcoin will continue to go up and down as we get closer to full adoption. The volatility of Bitcoin is still radically lower today than it was historically because the adoption of Bitcoin is much higher today than it was historically. We're still at only like 5%, 6%, something like that of the world owns any Bitcoin. It's probably less than 5% of the world owns any Bitcoin. But again, the rest, the people who do own Bitcoin are speculating on how fast the worldwide adoption will happen, which causes the price to overshoot and then undershoot and then overshoot and then undershoot. Now, what is the perfect exact right price of Bitcoin based on worldwide adoption? The answer is nobody knows because nobody knows, nobody has perfect knowledge of the exact trajectory of current Bitcoin adoption and future Bitcoin adoption. Nobody knows exactly what that is, and therefore what the exact price ought to be right now if there was no speculation up or down. See, right now, there's a bunch of people speculating that the price will go up because of worldwide adoption. There's a bunch of naysayers shorting Bitcoin, which means betting that the price will go down. They will ultimately be proved wrong in the long term. But in the short term, when you short an asset, it pushes the price down. That's just how it works. So right now, there's no way of knowing the perfect, exact, real market price of Bitcoin other than the price you see, which is the price that people are trading Bitcoin with each other for right now. Is that above or below the price it would be if you had zero speculation in the market and the price was only reflective of actual supply and demand by people who intended to use Bitcoin as money? I don't know. Maybe the price today is exactly right. Maybe today at whatever it is, $85,000, $86,000, $87,000, maybe today is the exact perfect price that represents adoption. And maybe we were above that price earlier because people were speculating and they got a little ahead of themselves. Maybe we will drop below the price that is reflective of adoption because people will get too bearish, meaning too pessimistic. And they'll start shorting it thinking it's going to go down when it decides not to. I don't know. All I know is that long term, the world will adopt Bitcoin because it is better money. The fundamentals of its divisibility, durability, portability, fungibility, verifiability, and scarcity, those 6 attributes make Bitcoin better than any other money in the world. Better money outcompetes less good money. The US dollar is not scarce. The government's printing unlimited amounts of it, which is why we have inflation. It's why the value of the dollar has dropped in half in the last 15 years or whatever. Come on, the whole thing's insane. Bitcoin fixes that problem. Bitcoin will be the future monetary system of the world. It's just going to take time. Right now, Bitcoin is on sale. It is a fantastic time to buy Bitcoin. And if you hold it on to it long enough, you can buy stuff at a radical discount, which is what I do literally every single day. So buy as much Bitcoin as you can. Hold on to it for as long as conceivably possible. The same advice I have always never changes is that advice. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can. Hold on to it for as long as conceivably possible. And one day you can spend that Bitcoin and buy everything massively on sale. And that is what I do now. And that is what I will do in the future. And now's a great time to buy Bitcoin.